On June 23 in history, Robert de Bruce King of Scots killed Sir Henry de Bohun in dramatic fashion at Bannockburn near Stirling, Scotland. The Battle of Bannockburn took place over 2 days, 23rd and June 24th, between a Scottish army under Bruce and an English army under King Edward II. On the first day, Henry de Bohun, an English knight, caught sight of Bruce in an exposed position in front of his men armed with just a battle-axe. According to the Scottish account, a narrative poem written by John Barbour some 60 years later. Gloucester and Hereford with their hosts were approaching near, and before them all there came riding, with helm on head and spear in hand, the gallant Sir Henry de Bohun. He was a good and bold knight, and was clad in strong fine armor. He came on his steed a markshot before all the rest, and knew the king by his arraying his men and by reason of the crown on his basnet, and he spurred at him. When the Bruce saw him come on so openly before all his comrades, he turned his horse towards him. And when Sir Henry saw the king come fearlessly on, he rode at him with the utmost speed. He thought he should right easily vanquish and overpower him, since he saw him mounted so ill. They dashed together in straight career, but Sir Henry missed the king, and the Bruce, standing in his stirrups, with his keen strong axe dealt him such a mighty blow as neither hat nor helmet could withstand. The heavy stroke that he gave clove skull and brain, the axe-handle shivered in two, and de Bohun crashed helpless to the earth. This deed, performed so doughtily, was the first stroke of the battle. But is the story true? There are 3 accounts, 2 English, and 1 Scottish, and, not surprisingly, they give different versions of de Bohun's death. The Scottish account above is the most widely known, but it was written 60 years later. The 2 English accounts were both written closer to the time, but must also be treated with some caution. One of the English accounts, the Scalacronica, written in the mid-14th century, states that Bruce killed a knight with an axe but gives a different name for the knight, which is probably just an error. Here Paris de Montfort, knight, was slain with an axe by the hand of Robert de Bruce, as was reported. The other English account, Vita Edwardi Secundi, written in the 1320s, very close to the time of the battle, states that Bruce actually killed de Bohun as the knight was in the process of fleeing in the face of the Scots. An extract is below. On Sunday, which was the vigil of St. John's Day, as they passed by a certain wood and were approaching Stirling Castle, the Scots were seen straggling under the trees as if in flight, and a certain knight, Henry de Bohun, pursued them with the Welsh to the entrance of the wood. For he had in mind that if he found Robert Bruce there he would either kill him or carry him off captive. But when he had come thither, Robert himself came suddenly out of his hiding place in the wood, and the said Henry, seeing that he could not resist the multitude of Scots, turned his horse with the intention of regaining his companions, but Robert opposed him and struck him on the head with an axe. So while Henry de Bohun was certainly killed by King Robert at the Battle of Bannockburn, the exact circumstances are unclear. The next day the Scottish army crushed the English army. It was said that after the battle men could walk over the Bannockburn with dry feet because it was choked up with the dead. Thousands perished in one of the most famous battles in British history. The year was AD 1314.